Bonjour. Hello, everybody. So welcome to our lesson 2 of Introduction to Phonetics. We are going to continue with our phonetics lesson. In our last session, we read this text and we also saw a couple of sounds and phonetics in French, and we saw how different French sounds are from English, right? So today what we're going to be doing is we're just going to have a quick revision of what our sounds are like in French. And then slowly, steadily, we're going to be moving towards alphabets. Okay, so we know that even though French has 26 letters, English has 26 letters as in same as in French. Of course, the pronunciation varies when it combines with either different consonants or whether it combines with different vowels. Okay, so let's understand some things. When C is with E or I, it sounds like sir. Okay, so which is why we'll read these following examples as sir, set, ceci. The ones in the bracket, if you see, are their pronunciations. You all can also repeat after me for better understanding. C anywhere else will be sounded as k. For example, comment, café, carte. Okay? Comment, café, carte. Remember, T towards the end, we do not pronounce it. CH together has a sh sound. Okay? As in machine, sh, same thing. For example, chaise, chateau, and so on and so forth. Okay? Then G. G and J, like we had, like I had mentioned in the last session, G and J has an inverse sound. So G sounds like J and J sounds like J. Okay, so je as in measure. For example, this is je. This is jardin. Jardin. IN has a nasal sound. Jardin. Okay, G. G sounds like J, like as in treasure. For example, gymnase, GA, and so on and so forth. G elsewhere, specifically with A, O, and U, has a G sound. For example, gare, gourmet. We might have seen this word quite a lot. Gourmet. Next, G and N, combination of G and N together. Remember, if it's reversed, not really. Only first G and then N has a near sound, as an onion. For example, ligne, montagne. Montagne is another one. I can note it down here. Remember? Montagne, l'Allemagne, campagne. Okay? Similarly, H is always silent in French. Okay? For example, This is not homme, no. Hôtel, etc. S, pronounced as S at the beginning of the word. Always, of course. For example, salle, salle, salon, salon. ON has nasal sound, so salon. S, when it is squeezed between two vowels, it has a Z sound. Okay, I like to call this the power of S. Okay, it is squeezed between two vowels and Z sound. For example, musée, musée. Okay, so if you all see here, you all can always go back to the recording and then repeat each word with me so that you all are able to understand the pronunciation of each word properly. Let's move to the next slide. I as in sk, like taxi, sk, okay, comes in the middle. For example, excellent, excellent, right? E-N-O-T towards the end, we don't pronounce. Excellent. L sounds like the normal L as in English. So this becomes bal, bal. This would be L, L. ILL has an ear sound. Okay, ear sound. Remember, not two L's when ILL together. Okay, so for example, this is beer, beer. famille. We don't say this as famille. No. Famille. Q has a k as in kite. For example, qui. This is not qui. No. Qui. This is bonk. Bonk. And so on and so forth. TH has a th sound as in three. Th. For example, however, H we know is silent in French. So it's going to be Thomas, Thomas, théâtre, théâtre. Okay, repeat after me, please. Théâtre. Then W is the same as in it's pronounced in English. It has a little V sound. For example, this is wagon, wagon. Okay, and this is web, same as in English, web. R, now, this sound does not exist in English. And it's basically your tongue being pressed against the upper throat as like a goggle and say k. Okay, so it becomes, par example, arriver, arriver, vraiment, sucre, mère, frère. Okay, the R sound will take a little while to sort of practice and to get it into habit. When you read more, when you listen to more native speakers talking, that's when you practice this with time. Okay, so usually our R, as in Hindi, when we talk, it's a little strong sound. We have to tone it down in the Spanish, in Spanish, and then we tone it down even more in French, which is r, a little from the throat. Okay, so this comes with time, with practice. Let's move to the next one. We know by now that there are certain consonants when it is being placed at the end of the word, we do not pronounce them as a rule. Like when we were reading the text in our previous session, we understood also that there were quite a lot of words towards the end which we do not pronounce and which are typically silent. What are those? Those are D, G, M, N, P, Q, S, T, X, and Z. Okay, so let's see how would we read these words. This would become frua, frua, D being silent. Okay, this is a different sound. So it is parfum, parfum. This is un, nasal sound. This is beaucoup, E-A-U is O, and O-U is U. So it becomes beaucoup, P silent. Salut, salut, T silent. Trois, trois, S silent. Prix, prix. We're not saying prix, no, prix. Chez, chez. Z, chaise, no, chez. However, we need to understand that when these words, when they are followed by an E, okay, after the consonant, then the consonant is pronounced. For example, here if you see, normally we will read this without the E as étudiant. But with this E towards the end, we will read this as étudiante. Do you see the difference? Étudiant without the E, étudiante with the E. Similarly, without the E, this would be petit, petit, which is small. With the E, this is petite, petite, th sound. Okay, so we got to be careful with the placement of E towards the end or not. However, there are certain consonants when placed towards the end, we pronounce it. For example, B, C, R, F, E, L. Typically at the end of the words are usually pronounced. So this would be club, club, avec, avec, actif, actif, biftec, biftec, avril, avril, pour, pour. Okay, so by now you might have understood how our sounds work. Okay, with the last thing which is important regarding our sounds. Of course, vowels play a very, very important role when we're talking about certain, whether individually or whether in combination with certain consonants, right? So A is A, E is I is E. Remember, these two are inversed. E is I is E. O is O, U is U. Remember? U. So this, by that logic, it becomes sal. This becomes sample. Okay? Similarly, this is so by that logic, it becomes le. Petit. I is E. So this becomes li. Si. O is O. So this becomes sor. Remember, T is silent. And so. U is U. Lune. Sur. Okay? However, when there are certain nasal sounds which are there. Okay? Now, nasal sounds, I will help you learn with the following examples. Okay? So, if you see here, these are all my nasal sounds. AN has a O sound. So this becomes blanc. This becomes grand. Okay? EN has a O again sound. Same. Enfant. Entendre. Please repeat. Enfant. T silent. Entendre. Okay? ON again has a O sound. So this becomes rond. D being silent. Vent. T being silent. Rond. Vent. UN, we just saw it is going to be un. So this becomes grand. This becomes un. However, when we have a combination of U and E, let's write it under nasal sounds. Okay, we saw and we saw bra. However, U and E is nothing but yun. So by that logic, this will become brune. This is nothing but the feminine of what we just saw. Okay. Let's move to the next one. IN is an. Like I told you, remember an as an angle, the word angle. Okay, this is also a nasal sound. So, IN, as in remember the word angle. Angle starts with the sound as an. Same sound. Okay, so this is andis. This is l'un. AIN again has a sound. So this becomes train. This becomes demain. Nasal sound. EIN again has a sound. So this becomes plein. Reine. Okay, rein, not ren. Ren would be this. If I add an E, this becomes plein. And if I add an E here, it becomes ren. Okay, that is ren. This is ram. Okay, ouin. This is hidden, but I will give you a sound here. OIN is ouin. Par exemple, we have coin. Corner is called as coin. Okay, nasal sound. So be very careful with our nasal sound. They are very important in French. Okay. Other than that, we definitely have some more sounds. For example, we saw AU being O. So this becomes chaud. This becomes jaune. EAU is again O. So then this becomes beau. This becomes nouveau. OU is ou. Ou as in English. This is nous. Pouvoir. Pouvoir. This is a verb in French. EU is a. So then this would be jeune. Peur. AI we saw. AI, EI, ET, EZ, ER. They all sound like A. So this becomes aimer. Laine. Similarly, we'll see this first. This becomes tres, again A sound. Beige. OI, on the other hand, has a UA sound. So this becomes moi. Trois. Three. Okay. So I hope that the sounds are pretty much clear now. Okay. These are some common sounds again, which we just saw. You can definitely read through them. I can just say it once and then you all can practice it, pause it, say it, and then also write the pronunciation of it in Hindi if that really happens. Okay. So if you want, you can relate a lot of your pronunciation with Hindi because that will also help you understand what the particular word would sound like in case you're comfortable. So this is AI, we know, is AI, EI, they're all A. Chaise, jamais, ballet, 13, 16, neige. Remember, A sound. We just saw pois is poire, miroir, étoile. AU, we just saw O, so aussi, saute, faute. OU is ou, route, poule, fourmi. EU is so feu, de, jeudi. EAU is O, so rideau, cadeau, chapeau. We saw this, all sounds, AN, AM, EN, EM. All of them has O sound. Chance. Okay, however, this has a little M. Jambe. Ensemble. ON, OM, again, O and OM. Pompier. Remember, ER is A, so pompier. Ballon. Oncle. Okay. By this, now we come to our alphabets. So now that you've understood your phonetics is when we will teach you some alphabets. This is exactly how alphabets need to be taught. So once you know the logic of certain words and its sounds, alphabet sounds much more easier. Okay, so I'm going to be reading it. Y'all can definitely pause it in the middle and then y'all can read it after me. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Ce sont les alphabets en français. These are the alphabets in French. Okay, y'all can definitely read it, understand it, and then solve and also make notes on it. It's very important. I cannot stress enough to make your handwritten notes on it. Okay, right from day one. So I'll see you in the next lesson. Till then, happy learning.